Welcome to the hrQ Insight Series. I am Carisue Bench, the Consulting Advisory Leader at hrQ. And today we're talking about the huge trend of relocations happening as part of the reevaluation of work as a result of the pandemic. But when employees move without telling their employers, that certainly brings up some important issues and questions. I would like to introduce you to Stephanie Williams, who's a thought leader in employee engagement and organizational effectiveness to discuss this important topic. Stephanie, can you share with us a little bit about your background?
Of course. Thank you, Carisue. I am an organizational psychologist by training and have been a consultant for nearly 25 years. I'm currently a director of consulting services at hrQ, and I partner with clients in the areas of organizational development and transformation, people strategy, human capital management, and leadership development.
Thanks, Stephanie. When you talk to employees, what are you hearing these days?
Well, when I talk with employees about these kinds of surprise or undisclosed relocations, I'm hearing a couple of different things. Some employees genuinely don't think it matters that they have moved. In their minds, as long as they're getting their work done and are accessible when they need to be, they don't really think that the company should care exactly where they are. For those who suspect that the company might care, they're operating from the notion that it's better to ask forgiveness than permission. Either way, this is really just one of the many ways that employees are exercising the leverage and the power that they have right now in the marketplace.
That's really interesting, Stephanie. What are some of the things that are at the top of mind for your customers or the employers that employees may not be thinking about?
Yeah, from an employer perspective, it does look a little different. And I'm finding as I talk with people about this, that undisclosed relocations are causing a lot of consternation. While there are perhaps some administrative and compliance concerns, it also might throw a wrench into a company's return to office plans. Employees are coming clean about their whereabouts as plans to bring them back into the office are communicated. So this puts companies in a bind if their policies require people to be in the office some or all of the time. So companies really have a few choices. You can revamp your overall plans to accommodate permanently remote work. You can ask these employees who have moved away to come back or lose their jobs. Or you can find some kind of middle ground, such as asking remote workers to come back once a month or so, maybe at their own cost. The solution is far from a one-size-fits-all. You, of course, have to balance what's fair for all employees with your particular talent needs. Whatever you decide and whatever your return to work policy might be, I just want to say that it's really essential to articulate and communicate exactly why you make the decisions you're making. Too often, I'm hearing leaders say that they want people back in the office simply because they say so, and that doesn't really go over very well with employees. Or I hear leaders say that it's because we want to maintain our culture, which really isn't clear and detailed enough. What exactly for your company is important about physically working together in an office? It's important that you can answer that question. Whatever your path forward might be, employees need to hear and understand the reasons you're making the decisions that you're making.
So Stephanie, let's talk a little bit about the employer-employee relationship and trust. How has the foundation of trust been impacted?
Yes, on a more fundamental level, what I am really hearing between the lines is that bosses and companies are experiencing a sense of betrayal when employees relocate without telling them. If an employee thinks that their boss or the company won't like the idea of them moving, then a conversation about moving has the characteristics of a difficult or crucial conversation. And for whatever reason this conversation is avoided, it does suggest that there's some lack of trust in the relationship. The pandemic has clearly been showing cracks in the employer-employee relationship, cracks that were already there and have now come to the surface. So for company leaders, I would take this seriously and honestly examine the relationship that you have with your employees. What role does trust play in the relationship? Are you trying to create something more than simply work in exchange for pay? Are you trying to create some kind of real community? If so, what are the values and the desired behaviors of that community? What shared purpose is the community oriented around? And are your leaders and staff aligned? Are your leaders walking the talk? Ask and really listen to what employees have to say, what they're perceiving and experiencing. What degree of trust do they have in the company and in their leaders? Do they feel united by a shared purpose? You can hear what employees have to say through pulse surveys or through other kinds of real discussions. So really the key takeaways are that whatever your post-pandemic work policies and practices might be, clearly communicate exactly why you're choosing your path forward. And then secondly, deeply examine the employer-employee relationship that you want for your organization. Ask and listen to employees' perspectives and experiences, and be honest about whether your organization and leader practices are consistent in supporting the kind of relationship that you want to have with your employees.
Well, gosh, this has been amazing insight, Stephanie. Thank you so much for sharing your perspective. We look forward to having you join us for future hrQ Insight series discussions, and have a terrific day.